You ever notice how some things in nature just feel right? There's this deep, almost magnetic pull we get from its patterns, like we're tapping into something really fundamental. Well, today we're going to dive into why that is, and more importantly, how we can bring that same profound elegance into the digital world. This right here, this question gets right to the heart of it all. It taps directly into that feeling we've all had, that sense of calm or wonder, or just deep connection when we look at the natural world. And it's not just a nice little feeling, it's something more. So yeah, what if that feeling is basically our brain recognizing a fundamental design language? This isn't about random beauty. It's about a deep underlying logic that has shaped life for billions of years. And if we can understand it, it can totally change how we design, well, everything. And there's a name for this whole approach. It's called biomimicry. It's the simple but brilliant idea that nature, through eons of trial and error, has already solved a ton of the design challenges we face today. We just have to learn how to read the instruction manual. So how do we start decoding this manual? Well, we're going to focus on three foundational patterns that you see again and again and again: the fluid rhythm of waves, the infinite complexity of fractals, and the incredible emergent order of growth. First up, waves. Now, you might immediately think of the ocean, but this pattern is literally everywhere, in sound, in light, even in the data flowing through your phone right now. At its core, a wave is just a transfer of energy. And its properties, how often it repeats, how intense it is, how far apart its peaks are, give us this really powerful toolkit for design. And this is where we can translate that abstract idea into real design. I mean, think about those subtle animated backgrounds on a meditation app that just make you feel calm, or Spotify's audio visualizers that make data feel totally alive. Even that little ripple effect when you tap a button in Google's material design that uses wave principles to feel more organic and responsive. So what are these patterns actually communicating? Well, it really depends on how you use them. Gentle, slow waves can create a feeling of tranquility. Sharp, fast ones can suggest power and energy. And sometimes they can literally represent communication itself, like sound or radio waves. Okay, next up, we have fractals. The term was coined by Benoit Mandelbrot, and a fractal is basically a shape that looks similar no matter how much you zoom in or out. It's a property called self-similarity. This is where you get this immense, almost infinite-looking complexity, all born from a single, simple rule that just repeats over and over. Oh man, the power of fractals in design is huge. We can use their algorithms to generate endlessly unique, organic-looking backgrounds. They're used to procedurally generate entire planets in games like No Man's Sky. You could even organize a massive website, say like Wikipedia, like a fractal, where the structure of the whole thing is mirrored in each little section. It just makes it feel intuitive. This is a question that comes up all the time, so let's clear it up. The short answer? No. They're related, for sure, since both are mathematical concepts found in nature, but they are totally different things. The golden ratio is a specific proportion. It's a number, about 1.618, that creates those pleasing spirals. A fractal, on the other hand, is all about self-similarity across different scales. Our third key pattern is growth. And listen, this isn't about a static shape. It's a dynamic process. It's about nature's own algorithms, those simple, repeatable rules that tell a tree how to branch out to find sunlight, or how a sunflower packs its seeds so efficiently using the Fibonacci sequence. The applications here are just so exciting. We can use these principles for generative art that literally evolves right in front of our eyes. Or get this, imagine a news website where the layout doesn't just shrink for a smaller screen, but intelligently reorganizes itself, growing the most important stories in size based on real-time data, just like a living organism adapting to its environment. How cool is that? Okay, so we've decoded the patterns, but how do we actually use them? This next section is all about a practical framework for moving from just admiring nature to intelligently integrating its wisdom into our work. It really comes down to a clear four-step process. First, observe. Really look at the world around you. Second, abstract. Don't just copy a leaf, figure out the principle behind its branching veins. Third, choose your purpose. And finally, and this one is so key, always, always balance the beauty with usability. And that brings us to one of the most important parts of this whole conversation.
It is so easy to get carried away with the beauty of these patterns, but we can never, ever sacrifice clarity and function. So let's talk about the challenges.
This is the core balancing act right here. For every powerful benefit, there's a potential pitfall. Enhanced aesthetics? Awesome. But it can quickly become visual clutter. That intuitive navigation you were going for, if it's too complex, it can actually increase cognitive load. And a unique identity can so easily slip into a tired cliché if we're not careful. But above all else, there's one concern that has to be the top priority in every single design decision we make. And that, of course, is accessibility. Before you even think about implementing any of these complex patterns, you have to ask these questions. Can people actually read the text? Could our animations harm someone? Is the design just overwhelming? Nature is inclusive. Our designs inspired by it have to be too. It's an ethical imperative, plain and simple. So, looking ahead, the synergy between these natural patterns and our technology is about to get even more exciting. And that's thanks, in large part, to advances in artificial intelligence and generative design. Just imagine an AI that's been trained on millions of natural forms. It could actually learn the rules of nature's aesthetics and then act as a creative partner for us, suggesting patterns, generating new variations, and helping us decode the very algorithms that life itself uses. I mean, this just opens up some incredible possibilities. Could we see interfaces that actually evolve like living organisms based on how we use them? Or materials that can self-assemble based on the principles of crystal growth? The line between what's designed and what's grown is really starting to blur. And that just leaves us with this final, humbling thought from the source. By looking to nature's blueprint, we're not just creating more effective and beautiful designs, we're connecting with something far deeper. We're learning to build with an integrity that's been informed by the timeless wisdom of the natural world.